Welcome back. President Trump endorsing the Senate's budget resolution, urging the House to pass it quickly. He writes this on Truth Social last night. All of the elements we need to secure the border, enact historic spending cuts, and make tax cuts permanent are strongly covered and represented in the bill. There is no better time than now to get this deal done. House Speaker Mike Johnson discussed this last night on Fox News. Watch.
The reason the president calls it the one big beautiful bill is because we're going to deliver on all these promises we made to the people, all the America First policies. We're going to add American energy dominance provisions. We're going to make sure we restore peace through strength, put in all the funding mechanisms to handle that and follow through with the president's orders, while also incorporating what DOGE is doing to make government work more efficiently and effectively. All that will be moving forward, but we have to keep the House and Senate Republicans working together as one team. We unify, we will accomplish this mission.
Yeah, but the House Freedom Caucus says not so fast. Chairman of Freedom Caucus Andy Harris claims he wants Speaker Johnson to keep working on the House's version, warning that he would vote against the Senate bill over spending cuts. Joining me now is Louisiana Congressman and House Majority Leader Steve Scalise. Congressman, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. I feel like it's deja vu all over again. What's the difference in the spending cuts between the Senate and the House bill, and can you come in the middle?
Yeah, Maria, good morning. Great to be back with you. And the bill that we worked incredibly hard on in the House laid out a lot of specifics on how far we're going to go on spending reductions. And President Trump is right there with us. You saw, as you pointed out, in his Truth Social yesterday. So, we're going to still make those savings. The Senate is far behind us right now. And you look at their resolution, it didn't go into near the detail. And I think that's what some members, including myself, had issue with. But at the end of the day, all the things we want to achieve in the House product can still be achieved. And the bottom line is we've got to move this process forward, Maria. We can't wait 2 more months for the Senate to get where we are. The market sure can't wait. The economy can't wait. Families don't want to wait for the relief they're going to get, the certainty they're going to get on locking in tax rates. President Trump needs the money for border security. I was talking to Tom Homan last week. They need more money for deportations. You saw the Supreme Court this morning said they can move forward with deporting these, gang members, hardened gang members. But we've got to get this bill done. And I know everybody's got their questions. It's more to make sure we're going to follow through on the spending reductions, and we will. And President Trump's committed to that. He said it yesterday again in his tweet.
So do you have the support in the House to pass what the Senate has put forth, and will you be able to do this by the end of the week and give the public and the markets confidence that you actually have clarity on this before you leave for the Easter recess for 2 weeks?
Yeah, Maria, like any big bill we work on, there's still a lot of conversations we're going to have today. I was in a meeting last night with the Speaker and some members that had some other questions. We went through it, and they're in a good place now. But we have other members that'll still have questions today. We're going to answer all of those. And let's then go and move the bill forward. The plan is to move it tomorrow. I think the president's going to be talking to some people as well. We've got dinner with the president tonight, and he's going to be talking about that as well as other things. But how important it is to move the Trump agenda. And so much of that, as you ran that comment from the Speaker on Fox last night, all of that is in this one big beautiful bill. It's not just locking in the tax rates. It's border security. It's energy production for America. Some defense spending to keep up with China. Trying to get some regulatory relief, locking in DOGE savings, all that in this bill. I think you'll see economic growth like we haven't seen, job creation, wage growth for families once we get this bill moved by the summer to the president's desk.
Well, the problem is with all of this uncertainty around tariffs, this bill becomes so much more important just for clarity for the markets so that we don't see a deterioration in market value. The White House says almost 70 countries have reached out to negotiate on tariffs and trade as President Trump threatens to veto a Senate bill giving tariff authority to Congress. Where are you on this? 7 Republican senators backed the bill. Nebraska Congressman Don Bacon introducing a House version of it. Congressman, do you want Congress to get involved in President Trump's decision-making on tariffs?
No, I don't, Maria. And look, this is a healthy debate. Let everybody have it. But President Trump said in the State of the Union, go back and watch the tape, He said, look, trust me on this. There will be some short-term pain, but long-term, we're going to get fair trade. Countries are going to have to stop ripping us off. And I think everybody in America gets that, even the people that are concerned about the effects on today's market or even on today's prices. They recognize, China cheats, manipulates currency, all of those things. But other countries are taking advantage of us, too, that are friendly countries. And why are we letting that happen for decades and decades? If we can get zero tariffs by everybody, look at what you talked about a little while ago with Europe. They have a VAT tax, which is in essence like a tariff on American products. We don't do that to them. Why don't they treat us the same way? Open up, remove barriers to trade, allow American companies to sell their products into foreign nations, friend or foe, just as easy as it is for them to sell their products here. If you get to fair trade, and that's the end result of this, I think everybody will look back and go, this was a good thing. And that's why there's a line out the door, as Scott Bessent mentioned, of countries wanting to get new trade deals with the United States.
Well, of course, you are being urged to pass this bill as fast as possible to give clarity to the markets. The Journal editorial board is urging Republicans to pass a pro-growth tax bill to offset the president's tariffs. They write this: Mr. Trump's $700 billion a year in tariffs is the largest tax increase in recent decades. Republicans should be thinking of a much bigger supply-side tax cut to offset the damage. Congressman, I was traveling this weekend, and I met with one CEO who said to me, Maria, of course we are already in recession. So I wasn't surprised to hear Larry Fink say the same thing yesterday to the New York Economic Club. We may be in recession. Things get worse without a tax bill. Things get worse with uncertainty in the stock market. How do you see it, the macro story?
Look, I've been urging my colleagues in the House to move on this bill as quickly as possible for a lot of reasons. Yeah. One is to get the economy booming. There is a lot of pent up, and you probably talk to people like I do that say there's trillions of dollars sitting on the sidelines waiting to see if there's going to be tax certainty. Because if there's a $4.5 trillion tax hike, meaning if Congress does nothing, that's the kind of taxes that go up on every American. Nobody would be immune from it, and it would crush the economy. Yeah. So we need to get this tax bill in place to give not only certainty to the economy, but to bring that investment back in and get real economic growth.
Congressman, real quick before you go, let me just get your take on this. Are you expecting a deal on energy? Because the president talks a lot about tariffs, right? Things that these countries are doing that help their companies and hurt American companies. And he wants a deal on energy where the rest of the world is buying oil and gas from America. We understand that the president had a phone call with the acting president of South Korea. Do you think that's about energy? Do you think we're going to hear deals on energy as it relates to tariffs?
I hear from people all the time that want American energy, oil and natural gas, especially natural gas. We could have contracts for decades. That's why Trump lifted the ban that Biden had on LNG exports. We are going to continue to produce more energy, and that's in this one big, beautiful bill.
All right, we will leave it there. Congressman, it's always a pleasure. Thanks so much. Please come back soon.